Welcome to the Salt Strong Fishing Podcast. Salt Strong has been helping saltwater anglers catch more fish in less time for 10 years and is now the largest and most trusted saltwater fishing community in America. If you want to catch more saltwater fish, then keep listening. If you want to speed up your fish catching results even faster, then join the private insider community at saltstrong.com. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Is the color of your clothing spooking fish? Hey everybody, Joe Simons, Diamonds.
Hey, Luke Simons.
And we're looking obnoxious here. At least I am, because I've got my headset behind my hoodie. Brand new hoodie, by the way, looking pretty sharp. And if you can't see us, know that we're in this brand new blue sky looking camo. It's got some redfish designs in it. It's actually our old redfish design. And we did it with the intent of making it look like the sky so the fish couldn't see us, which begs the question, can fish see your clothing in the first place? Does it even really matter? What do we think, Lukey?
Yeah, obviously the fact that we came out with light color sky camo shirts, we believe it.
Oh, sure. I was about to say, man, we just wasted a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, but it's situational, right? If you're like bass fishing a 20-foot hole with murky water, obviously they can't see up to the surface, much less see your clothing above the surface. But for us saltwater anglers who are spending a lot of time targeting big fish up in shallow water, then absolutely they can, of course, see out. And if you have a big old silhouette, it's all about the silhouette. And so if you have a big old silhouette, like this is even black, but this is a green shirt. It obviously stands out a lot more on a light backdrop than this light, right? And so again, but if you are inshore fishing, particularly sight fishing, that's when it is incredibly important to be wearing light material. That doesn't technically have to be camo, but everything we do in that regard can certainly help.
Yeah, and this actually goes for bass fishing too. Not in the 20-foot deep hole, and when they're at the bottom and it's a cloudy, dark day. But it goes for any sort of fishing when you're usually in shallower water, especially if it's sunny out, and especially if you're from boat or shore or anywhere where there's a chance fish could not necessarily even see you. But I'll go into what this book says. So if you don't know about the Scientific Angler, this is the book that we did a podcast on quite some time ago about scent, about fish scent. It's probably one of the best books I've read, like on just science-based stuff, where Paul Johnson, the author, spent more hours and years underneath the water studying fish and wrote books about them than probably anyone. And fascinating book. And he's got a whole page dedicated to can fish see the angler based on the clothing here at page 76. So I'm going to go ahead and just read. So what he would do is he would get underwater in that it looks like 6-7 feet of water. So he's down there with his mask and his camera, and he would have anglers on shore, first on boat, and then he would have it because he could always see the boat. You could see the hull of the boat. And he says, you could even see the shadow as they moved. And many times you could even see the rod as they were moving that around. He said, I could see all of that. Even if I wasn't looking up, he's like, it was just the shadows is what he could see. He's like, I could sense that there was something going on there. And he happened to know it was a rod just because he knew it. He was looking at it, fish. I don't know, the brains might not be as wise to know it's a fishing rod, but either way, they knew something wasn't right. So then he had anglers on shore try to approach me without being detected as I played the role of the fish. And then finally, I had anglers and waders approach me as well, where he would try to see, assuming the wader didn't move at all, if he could see them up above the water. In every single instance, I was able to easily spot the angler by simply looking overhead, not in the direction in which the angler was positioned. Even the slightest movement of the angler was easy to spot. I would also have to be blind not to see the anglers who wore bright colored clothing that contrasted with the background. I would have to be blind not to see them. I smile as I think of the thousands of trout fishermen who crouch down in a stream thinking they're invisible to the trout in a nearby pool. And as if that, oh, and as if that new vest and plowed sport shirt weren't enough, they add a touch of color with some gay hat. Not my words, his, with some gay hat that shows up well enough for their friend's photograph of them. Pretty funny. But his whole point, and he kind of sums it up on the next page. He says, basically avoid anything that's going to contrast. Avoid bright colored or dark clothing against a blue sky background. Instead, oh, you're going to like this, Luke. You're going to like this. Wear soft pastel blue. That just happens to be kind of what we have here. Conversely, against dark backgrounds, wear darker clothing. Pretty cool. Once again, this is all credit to the scientific angler, Paul Johnson. He also says, and you're going to also like this one, it's really tough. Even with this helps. Like this color camo is going to give you an advantage. We all want every advantage possible, just like we use scent. You don't have to have scent to catch fish, but I want every advantage possible. But he says the best way to avoid detection is to learn how to cast far and have the right rod and equipment to be able to make really long casts so that you don't have that chance. Because had that shore guy, been 60 feet away from shore, I wouldn't have seen him. He could have made that cast and I would just, oh, cool, free meal and boom, bam, sham. So pretty cool. Love referencing this book. One of my favorites.
Yeah, it makes sense because I never thought much, for many years, I never thought much about the color shirts I would wear. I used to always fish in the like the darker Columbia blue just because I just like that color. And that's obviously way too dark. Like I'm sure I was spooking fish. And one cool thing I learned from Captain C.A. Richardson, he was one of our early coaches in Salt Strong. He's a hardcore sight fisherman, does a ton of push pulls clients around the flats. Spent a lot of time in Tampa Bay. Now he's up in the Clearwater area, but Tampa Bay has some of the most finicky fish of anywhere. So anybody who's doing good stuff and having good results in Tampa, I always listen to. And one tip I learned as far as positioning, we were doing a course, some lessons about push pulling. I've always thought, at least I used to always think that I would, when I sight fish, I would have the wind to my back so that I could see the fish better. And he's like, oh, no, that's actually the worst thing you can do because that's casting a shadow, right? Like that rod shadow can spook the fish. Also, with our front side, the sun behind us, now our front side, even if we are wearing light colored stuff, which he obviously recommends, it's darker on this side, right? This side's in the shade. Conversely, if the sun's pointing at us, now we're bright. Now we're brighter than we otherwise would be, and the fish have a harder time seeing us. So pretty cool. I never really, again, I used to always have the sun in my back. And again, that was a change I made that absolutely helped put more fish catching in the.
What was the part? What did you say first about the wind?
Not the wind, the sun. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You said the wind. I was like, what's it talking about the wind for? I thought you said the wind.
Yeah, I might have, but yeah, the sun, right? The trick was to have that sun in our face so that we're lit up as much as possible. Obviously, when we're sight fishing, the sun's going to be out. Typically, going to have some blue skies, and for us who fish the flats, it's often going to be sky in our backdrop versus. Again, I used to do a lot of bass fishing in smaller lakes, and so in that case, probably a green might be a good color to wear. It's a lot of it's situational.
Mm-hmm. But ironically, he mentioned the whole hat thing too, right? And envision like an old school. This book was written quite some time ago when guys had the big old wide brim hat and it had a bunch of colors and flannels and stuff. And he's like, that thing was, and it's the highest point, right? Because it was standing out like crazy. But yeah, so cool. These shirts, by the way, feel great. New material.
Yeah, it's new material. This is a higher end material compared to prior performance shirts, and it's awesome. You can see if you look closely, there's like some little redfish in the design. Yeah, it's they just came in. I guess by the time we're airing this, they're not currently live on our site. By the time this goes live, they'll probably just have gone live. But yeah, if you're in need of a fishing shirt, they are awesome. We have the hoodie, which both are wearing. I put mine up too. And hoodies are game changer for sight fishing as well. We have the hoodie and just the normal long sleeve solar shirt.
And why are the hoodies a game changer for sight fishing?
Yeah, just for as far as glasses here too, I guess we'll show. But as far as us being able to see as good as possible, we want to have like zero light, ideally coming in from the sides. That just distorts vision. Kind of like scuba divers. They're not wearing those masks with clear sides. It's all black, so that 100% of their vision of their brain power is going directly in front. And so we want to do that the same thing with our glasses. So the hoodie covers the sides. So even if my glasses aren't perfectly, perfectly go into the contours of my face, which hardly anybody's glasses do, we have our hoodie on the sides to block it. And if you're wearing, like, this is my favorite hat, this thing's just so comfortable. It's dark, which we have just talked about is not good, but the hoodie covers most of it. So in general, as long as it's something smaller than a fish, they don't get so scared. It's like if even a fish does see my hat, it'll probably look like a bird and unlikely to scare him. But now that I it would be interesting to do a test next time I go sight fishing. I'll wear a light colored hat and see if the hat makes a difference or not.
Like this one I have here. It's actually got the same light colored camo, if you can see that.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. Thank you, Mike. Captain My Good Wine.
Because in general, too, again, back to the site, that's what's kind of a balance that we need to make. So the bottom of hats being dark is just like the light coming in from the sides. We don't want it. We also don't want a light bouncing down from the top. So having a dark bottom of the bill is helpful for us to be able to see better. But it's also helpful for the fish to see us better. So I don't know what the balance is on that. Worth the test.
Yep.
It's to go fishing again.
Yeah, and part of this book, I'll have to go find the page. I'm not going to read it word for word. But he would go down in the water in a lot of different circumstances. And one in particular, I still remember, he was down with the fish. So and these are largemouth bass in this case. So he's down, let's just say it's 10 feet of water, 10, 12 feet of water with these bass in a very clear water. And the boat knows where he is. So the boat comes to him shortly after, and he's watching the fish. This study was to see if fish would freak out by the boat engine. And he's like, the crazy part is they didn't. The big ones and small ones alike didn't really even move much. But the second that boat stopped and they started making some noise and dropping a trolling motor in, and you could see some of the shadows, you couldn't like make out the body, but you could see some stuff. He's like, that's when the big ones started getting a little bit more tucked down. He's like, it was really, really wild and that's why these books are so cool. When you have someone who's down there with the fish, it was the opposite. He thought it was going to be that the boat, the engine in general of them pulling up was going to scare them, but that part didn't. They were actually used to that, but it was all the irregular noise and like a dropping of a trolling motor and things kind of slowing down in shadows that got them a little bit freaked out. And he said the smaller ones less freaked out. They're just aggressive and maybe dumber and haven't learned as much. And the bigger ones, they definitely took a little bit longer to kind of get warmed up to the point they could be caught. Pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it does make a little bit of sense too, because with trolling for trout, remember we did a couple videos, even a podcast, and this is trolling in like 3 feet of water, which I never would have thought would be possible. I assume same thing, right? If a boat going over a 3 foot of depth, clearly the boat is right on top of the fish, and the fish would spook out. Was my thought. Because if we were normally fishing and just going over 3 feet of water, I almost guarantee that we would spook off pretty much every fish. But we caught surprisingly big fish trolling in shallow water like that. Even 20-inch trout would slam the paddle tail. And so I guess they're conditioned with boat traffic, and so boat bows right over them at a continuous speed. Like they don't really seem to care.
It's science.
It's science.
Goulet. Well, cool. So we got this. This is the new camo. We'll have it at Fish Roll. Let's talk about some other cool things we've got. We got that new ruler. We got the fat lipper, the skinny lipper XL coming. We might as well make some updates for awesome listeners that tune into these podcasts. Ho!
Yeah, here's another skinny lipper. This thing, we've had a ton of requests for this. Here's the original one, so you can see the size difference. Obviously there's different colors, but it's noticeably bigger, and it is shocking how far this thing casts. It has both skinny lippers have that weight shift technology. When you make a cast, the main weight shifts back toward the tail so that it just totally soars. And then once it sits in the water like this, but once you do the first twitch, this big one has a magnet. You do the first twitch, and now it comes into place and stays so that it floats and it floats at the right position. But this thing's awesome. And the cool thing about this one, for those who are, if you were tournament fishing and you want to weed out some of the smaller fish, like the fish in the teens, and you want to do 20s and up, this XL version will do just that. And
big old beefy hooks on it.
Yeah, beefy hooks, and again, it casts shockingly far.
If you can break one of those hooks, we want to see it.
Yeah,
and you got a monster, a tuna or something, bumblebee tuna. What else?
And so the other one is a fat lipper,
Ooh.
and that's actually a tackle test this month. Every month for members, we do a fun offering. Typically, it's either a brand new lure or a new color of a lure that we offer members for free. They can test it out. All they have to do is pay the normal small shipping, and obviously, we do a free shipping for a majority of the insider members as well. But yeah, it's basically a saltwater wake bait, and we've had a ton of requests. Matt Lanier has been winning multiple tournaments and winning a lot of money in tournaments using this type of lure. And it's weird, I don't think any wake bait has ever been designed specifically for saltwater fishing. So they don't have the beefy hooks. Like the ones Matt was using, he had to go get the wake bait and then replace the thin wire treble hooks with some beefier hooks with better split rings, and it's just a hassle.
It's like the KVD Strike King wake bait.
Yeah, the hooks that they're just made for bass, and saltwater is a different ball game. And so it's now no more hassle. Just get the lure ready to rock, and so I'm sure members will have a lot of fun with that lure. Obviously, when it's super cold out, that's not the best lure, but when we get in between the fronts, and especially as we get into spring, that lure is going to get better and better.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a beefy one too. Different colors or just Slam Shady to start?
So we have Slam Shady, and then that one will have Slam Shady and a greenback with white bottom.
I like it. And then the ruler too. We've been working on this ruler forever. Finally got him in, and I'm pumped. It can roll right up into a pocket. Should last forever. It's all waterproof and tear-proof and bear-proof and pelican proof. What else proof? Waterproof.
Did I hear bear proof in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ruler. Yeah, I don't have a sample there, but yeah, it's it rolls down into a very small. You can put it in your pocket or put it in your tackle bag, but it extends out to over 50 inches. So if you get into cobia every once in a while, or just if you want to be ready for a big fish, that most rulers end at like 36 inches. So if you want to get in the 40-inch club or the 50-inch club with different species, this lure will make sure that you have exact measurements without having to have a ton of space to put it on or to keep it.
Yeah, it's looks awesome. That'll all be at fishstrong.com. And coming up here real soon, depending on when you hear this, we have an event in Tampa. We're expecting 400 to 500 of us and a bunch of our insider members there for a Tampa event. Any members are welcome to come. The Tampa chapter is really kind of putting it on. We're going to be giving away a boat. Yes, a boat. Obviously, it's for a raffle, and all that's going towards conservation for some Tampa seagrass and clams and oyster restoration. Really, really cool. So if you don't know about it, we'll make sure we put a link in the blog post, etc. on that. Or just go to Facebook or Google the Salt Strong Tampa event there. And what's the name of the place called?
The Shriners.
The Shriners, yeah, the Shriners there, right on the river. Really neat little setup. We did it before last year. It was a huge success. So this year we'll be doing it again. And then the other piece of news I want to remind people to make sure to be in the community every week. just posting, liking. It's one, it's a great habit. Two, you make sure you don't miss anything. And three, you win stuff. We just gave away, we just posted that live is right before we recorded this, the about $1,500 of free tackle and gear we gave away. We do it every month. And it's free to enter. You don't even have to enter. You're automatically entered as long as you're just engaging and active in the community. That's community.saltstrong.com. It's all free. It's all part of the Insider membership. If you're not a member, what the heck are you waiting on? Come join us. And the almost 60,000 others there in the Insider Club. You got Smart Fishing Spots app, Smart Fishing Tides app. You've got tackle discounts. The tackle tester, Luke just mentioned, we give away free tackle every month to test out. And an amazing community, all kinds of content and coaching, and just a great group of people who are meeting together with these chapters and doing some really, really fun stuff, some cleanups, and now a big part of it's conservation. So I love seeing the direction it's all going. And that's all at community.saltstrong.com. You can make sure you never miss out on anything. Anything else, dude?
Yeah, and by the way, if you haven't yet seen the AI game plan feature, this is part of the Smart Fishing Spots platform. So let me just zoom in and show you how this works. So this is Smart Spots, and it's highlighting this shoreline based on the weather and based on the tides for the given time. But to get tips on how to fish it, we now have an AI game plan doing it. So you tap on the region and then tap on this little button here. And it's thinking a little bit. It's looking at the tides. It's looking at the spot. It can see the depth ranges. It can see the type of structure in that area, and it'll kick out a report. Or it's I think I mishit a button. Let me rehit it. It's yeah. So now it's starting to go. So
you want to be my latex salesman.
So it's starting to kick it off, but it has the depth ranges, right? It's seeing the depth ranges. It shows you the best times to fish that area. But also it even gives lure selection tips, right? Based on the type of structure, based on the season. It knows if it's windy or not. We've programmed it to obviously, prioritize certain lures when it's calm and clear versus others when it's windy. And the depth choices, the depth ranges, it's smart enough to pair the soft plastics with the proper size jig head. Pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
So the feedback has been amazing. It's still in beta test mode. So we're still working out the kinks. There's a ton of stuff that goes into this. Yeah, we're still making it continually better, but so far the feedback has been tremendous. So for you members, it's already there. And for non-members, if you want to try it out, all you have to do is join. We have a guarantee that you're going to love the entire platform. And with this part in particular, this thing is amazing. Nobody else is doing anything like it.
What are you going to do with all your extra time now that you don't have a job? AI is doing your coaching for you. Sit back and relax and...
I'm going to be testing out the spots and make sure.
Oh, got it.
Of course.
Can you name the company that George was yelling to Jerry to make sure he picked up his phone in Seinfeld about the latex salesman?
It was Vandalay Industries?
I think it was Vandalay, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah, but that was his normal company.
Yeah, Vandalay, latex salesman.
You want to be my latex.
What are you going to do with this latex? What kind of latex? I'm selling it, Jerry. Trying to get his unemployment thing or whatever.
What a good show.
That's great. Cool. All right. Well, that's it. We'll wrap it up here. A little bit of a shorter one, but just wanted to share that. It was kind of cool and happened to, be reading Scientific Angler about this. And these things just look dope. We've needed another kind of design, and we're like, let's just do something that's more science-based and kind of like scent. Yeah, you can certainly catch fish without this exact color on a bright sunny day, but if you're like me, I want every advantage possible. So and these just look and feel awesome. I'm digging them.
Yeah, and they don't hide stains as much either.
Ooh.
So that's been just from testing it out, that has been one of my favorite parts of it. If it's ladyfish, whatever, shaking blood stains on the shirt, not nearly as noticeable as a straight light colored shirt.
Well, I would tell you to maybe test it out with some ketchup, but you don't have it at your house. Who doesn't have ketchup at their house? I'm still baffled. We went over to Cookout, Luke's birthday, beautiful day, everything's perfect. Made some of the best steaks ever. Had hot dogs for the kids. He had little potatoes. Like, where's the ketchup? We don't have any ketchup. Like, what?
I'm just amazed at the ungratefulness. Have you over, cook you and your family food, and you're complaining that there's no catch.
That's your birthday. That's part of what you do on your birthday.
On my own birthday.
No, it's not me complaining. The kids are complaining. The kids are still talking about it. What's wrong with Uncle Luke? How come he doesn't have any ketchup? So now we know what to get you next year. Costco ketchup. Get you a boatload. Cool, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. And make sure you go to fishstrong.com. Check out all the new stuff. If you're not a member, come join us over at saltstrong.com. You'll see a place to join the Insider Club. You get the app Luke talked about, all the tackle discounts, 20% off these shirts and everything else that we're doing over there. And even the rods, I just picked up a new slot, a slam stick. We're out of the slot machine. But yeah, slam sticks are $100 off, slot machine and Otis combo, $100 off. It's just a great way to save some money. So
heck yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Talk to you on the next episode. Peace.
Want more fishing tips, shortcuts, and tools so you can catch more fish per trip? Then head over to saltstrong.com now and join the movement. Tight lines, and thanks for listening.